So the point is that, history of nations, certainly the history of Canada, is punctuated by such times when our actions can be decisive. And we're in one now, to be clear. We're in one now. Technological change is accelerating rapidly. The world has become more dangerous and divided. And that decades-long process of an ever closer economic relationship between Canada and the United States is over. And as a consequence of particularly that last point, many of our former strengths, based on our close ties to America, have become our vulnerabilities. And this is happening fast. This is not a transition, it's a rupture. And it means that our economic strategy needs to change dramatically and rapidly. And that was the context for Tuesday's budget, the first of our government. Now, in the budget, we estimate that U.S. tariffs and the uncertainty that they're creating will cost Canadians about 1.8% of our GDP. Translating that, it's about $50 billion lost from our economy, the equivalent of about $1,300 for every Canadian.
There's a new kind of protest happening in Canada, one that doesn't use signs, slogans, or marches. It's silent, subtle, but it's powerful. Because millions of Canadians are doing something they've never done before. They're choosing not to cross the border. New data from Statistics Canada paints a stunning picture. Travel to the United States has dropped more than 30% by land and nearly 25% by air. That's millions of fewer trips, billions in lost revenue for U.S. towns, and a clear signal that Canadians have had enough. But this isn't just about vacations or shopping trips. This is about identity. And whether Canadians realize it or not, they're reinforcing the same message that Prime Minister Mark Carney has been building for months. Canada no longer needs to depend on America.
Lots of people know this, there's lots of institutional capital in Canada and very strong banks, so I can get financed if I'm going to move forward. So I think those elements are there.
The U.S. is doing that too, though. So what is the extra thing that Canada
Well, we have rule of law. That's one of the big things. So it's true. Well,
when reporters asked why cross-border travel is collapsing, the answer was clear and uncomfortable for the White House. Canadians are voting with their wallets. Over the past year, every skip trip to Miami, every dollar spent in Halifax instead of Honolulu, every Canadian choosing Canada over the U.S., it's all part of the same message. Canada doesn't need to rely on Trump's America to thrive. We're not leaving the U.S. behind in anger. We're simply outgrowing it. What started as a reaction to tariffs has become a revolution in mindset.
Will cost Canadians about 1.8% of our GDP. Translating that, it's about $50 billion lost from our economy, the equivalent of about $1,300 for every Canadian. And if we don't act now, those losses will only grow. So part of our point is that nostalgia is not a strategy. The U.S. has changed, that's their right. But we must respond. That is our imperative. What the budget does is it builds Canada strong by focusing on what we can control.
Canadians no longer see their southern neighbor as the center of their world. Just another option. Trump wanted America to stand alone. And ironically, he got what he wanted. Just not how he expected. Because now Canada stands alone, too independent, strong, confident. The boycott isn't about hostility, it's about maturity. A quiet statement that Canada has its own identity, its own markets, and its own path forward. And that's exactly what Carney envisioned all along. A Canada that thrives not because of America, but despite it. Make sure to leave a comment and subscribe.